Millions of additional Californians will be getting medical insurance next year with the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. But that begs the question, will there be enough doctors to treat them? Hi, I'm Steve Swat for Comcast Newsmakers, and my guest in this segment, hopefully to answer that question, is Fred Dubick, who is president of the California Optometric Association. Thank you very much for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here, Steve.
So let's talk about the problem. I mean, already there is a primary care shortage, a primary care doctor shortage throughout the state of California, primarily in rural areas.
In rural areas and in urban areas, it's interesting that almost a third of all primary care doctors are over 55 years old and are projected to retire in the next 10 years.
Well, not only that, the population is aging and getting sicker to some degree as we go along, and growing.
Population is growing. The baby boomers are living longer and healthier, but yet requiring care. And the docs are concentrated in suburbia, not in urban America and in rural America.
So what do you foresee when 2014 hits? We have the Affordable Care Act fully implemented. California is moving aggressively to implement it. And you have all these additional millions on the rolls.
Well, there should be something like 5 million new patients that are going to require care. There's already a shortage. So there are other healthcare providers, such as optometrists, pharmacists, and nurse practitioners, to name a few, who are fully trained and currently do manage hypertension, hypercholesterolemia, and diabetes.
So are you suggesting that the optometrists can pick up some of the slack currently, or would there have to be legislation to increase what we call the scope of practice to allow you to do more?
Well, there is new legislation being introduced that would increase some of the scope of practice and to fill what we're calling the provider gap. And in areas where it might be 10, 12 weeks to see your primary care doctor, you might see your optometrist and they may make that initial diagnosis and perhaps initiate treatment.
You know, I've seen these battles going on in the legislature for dozens of years, and the MDs, the ophthalmologists in this case, usually fight this.
Well, we would expect that the other guys would have issues with expanded scope, but in this case there is a tremendous need and a provider gap, and there are millions of patients, and by their own admissions, someone needs to fill that gap.
Now, there are only a few places in California where students can get the education they need to become an optometrist. I mean, UC Berkeley is one. Would you have to expand that also?
Well, there are 3 optometry schools in the state of California. UC Berkeley has one, there's one down in Fullerton, and there's a new school graduating its first class at the Western University of Health Sciences in Pomona. And there are hundreds of new optometrists that are incredibly well trained and will be available in the marketplace every year and have been.
So you don't think there necessarily have to be new incentives to get more people into this field?
I don't think so. I think we have plenty of optometry schools in California, although across the country there have been a growing number in certain states where they have been adding optometry schools.
Would you expect a great deal of confusion once January 2014 hits?
Well, I think that, I don't know that there'll be confusion, but patients will want to have care. Patients, there's this monumental pent-up demand of care, and everyone's going to want that care. Where are they going to get it?
All right. Well, Fred Dubick, president of the California Optometric Association, thanks for coming by talking about this issue. It's something we're going to watch in the next few months.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Comcast Newsmakers. We hope to see you next time.